all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's never a non-spicy day in the NBA. It would seem, Ben. Yeah, thanks for listening, however you may be doing so over the air, streaming, KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app. Maybe you were watching the show on YouTube or KSLSports.com, or maybe you're one of our great friends from the future taking in the show via podcast. We appreciate you doing so. Especially on the big news days, because great part about being live and local all day is when the news hits, we're not taking a break to talk about what's the Jets' offseason look like this year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Real intel and kind of deep understanding of what's happening.
So let's dive right in.
All right.
Ben, we left the show yesterday with multiple options surrounding Walker Kessler and no idea what the time frame was going to be. Signs an offer sheet somewhere, the Jazz match, the Jazz don't match, and then we did talk about the possibility of a sign and trade.
Correct.
And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Sign and trade with the Jazz, where the Jazz pick up two unprotected first-round picks in, sorry, Ben, I should have it in front of me, 31 and 33, is that right?
Correct.
And then two draft swaps on the years in between.
28 and 30.
Oh, so
not
actually,
quite.
Apologize.
Yeah.
Fake news. I'm dying to hear your thoughts. I know you've been going at it on the Talk Snap all day, but what do you think of the outcome for the Jazz and curious for the Lakers for that matter?
Rare lose-lose trade. The Jazz are worse today than they were yesterday. The Jazz are not better without Walker Kessler. Walker fits particularly well next to Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren has weaknesses to his game. He is not a rebounder. That's probably what Walker's actually best at. I know the 2.4 blocks or whatever is like a nice number. Walker's a very good rebounder. He fixes that problem with Jaren really well, and then if he's your secondary rim protector or shot blocker or whatever next to Jaren, that's really good for Walker also. So you lost that. And he's only 24 years old, so there's some real room to grow, which is why the Jazz were offering him a 5-year deal. The Jazz are worse today. And the Jazz made a trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. to get better, to ideally compete for the playoffs, to ideally hope to start competing this season. And that got a little less likely. I don't think they were competing for a championship this year, but that is less likely that they are competing for a playoff spot this year than it would have been had they had Walker. And in fact, on the flip side of that, the Lakers got better today. The Lakers are one of those 6 best teams in the West now that are going to take one of these playoff spots, and I don't know if that was the case, in all honesty, until they addressed their center position, and it just so happened to come from the Jazz. So the Lakers got better, the Jazz got worse. That's the loss for the Jazz. The loss for the Lakers is that this is not a championship team, and they have no way of making it a championship team, and they've just settled at a pretty good team, and they've used up all their assets to get there, with no real way, I don't think, I could be wrong, but no real way of getting to the highest ceiling in the Western Conference. Like, they are not better than the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're not better than the San Antonio Spurs. They might not be better than a couple of other teams in the West, depending on how the rest of the offseason shakes out. That's really, really weird to me. That's a weird thing for your big three to be Luka, who I have said is a legit 1A, Austin Reeves, who's very flawed but good, and Walker Kessler, who's flawed but good. It's a weird big three. In a league that is not really favoring big threes anymore, it's favoring good 7s. 7 really good players versus 3 great players. And the Lakers don't even have 3 great players.
I do agree with your take that the Jazz are not better today as they were yesterday. Not better today than they were yesterday. Excuse me. As much as you and I both think that Jackson Hayes is just
superstar,
just special.
Jazz got a beast.
He's just a special player. But
that's the other piece of news, by the way, if people haven't seen that. The Jazz have signed Jackson Hayes.
2 years, $12 million.
What's the AAV? Do you think it's 6 or do you think it's 12? We think it's 6, right?
The per year? Is that what you're talking about?
It's
per year?
It's PY.
Per year? I don't know. Nor do I care. They have a team next year is a team option, so it's really a 1 year type of deal. Mm-hmm. So I am not arguing with that. We'll see what else they do before I make some pronouncement about whether or not they will make the playoffs. All the points you make I think are relevant. But I was using a comparison with Christian before the show because I honestly, and I think it's brilliant. And I'm not trying to honk out here. Okay. I think it's brilliant.
I'm curious to hear.
I keep in mind that the Jazz were not coming into this situation. It was not ideal. Having Walker hit free agency as a restricted free agent was not ideal. Ideal was he got wrapped up with a team-friendly deal last year before any of this water went under the bridge. But it did. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what the Jazz were talking to him about last year. We have no idea. We had this debate yesterday. Mistake, not a mistake. I don't really know. But they were not in the ideal position for the Utah Jazz. They did, however, have the upper hand because of the rules, because they can match anything. Uh-huh. So the Lakers, as we know, are desperate, and I think Rob Pelinka might be a little dim, and we can get to other evidence of that.
There's only 10 years of that evidence
coming up. Yeah,
including Anthony Davis openly mocking him today on social media.
Oh, did he really?
Uh-huh.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
But Ben, Christian drives a fine car.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you're about to use a car metaphor. I use the same one on my podcast, so let's hear it.
Christian drives a fine car. I wouldn't call it advantageous, but it's fine.
Uh-huh.
If somebody pulled up to Christian on the street and said, "I'll give you $20,000 for that car right now,"
this is the exact metaphor I use. This is great.
And Christian goes, "Well, yeah."
Sure.
And the guy goes, "You're going to have to take the bus home or something." Christian's going to say, "Well, yeah, give me the $20,000."
Okay.
Hand it over. Yeah, I'll get a bus pass. I'll call my wife. I don't care. It's going to take some time for you to go find a different guy. Yeah. Just give me the $20,000 and I'll figure out the rest. For the Lakers to pay 2 first-rounders unprotected and 2 swaps for a guy that they had to for the pleasure of overpaying a player.
For going over market for a player.
For the pleasure of overpaying a player is laughable. So the Jazz are a little better off or worse on paper as a roster. Check. But did they overpay the wrong guy?
No.
No, they did not.
Which we have learned today is maybe the single worst thing you can do in the NBA.
By overpaying the wrong guy. And they did not. Now, the Jazz probably, I'm guessing, offered what they were comfortable offering or probably pretty close in the 28-29. And honestly, probably didn't want to go much higher. That said, Ben, you wonder why you look at the number. You go 32.5 AAV.
I love adding a new bit.
I mean, come on. Come on, that's so little. It's so little. Think about this. Think about how do you get that? How do you get the dude to offer you $20,000 for your Mazda? How do you get that? If you tell the Lakers, listen, you can get your guy, and it can cost you $41 million. It can cost you $38 million. It can cost you $39 million. Mm-hmm. We'll lower our bar.
Yeah.
We'll lower our matching bar,
correct,
but you've got to make it worth the while. So the Jazz number was probably 28-29 with what they were comfortable. Lord knows what they were willing to go up to. Like if push came to shove, what they were willing to. But if the Lakers give them a sweetheart deal, they'll lower their number, sign Walker for 32.5, which is still way too much, and give us the haul. How do you get the guy with the $20,000 to pull over? You got to make it attractive, and I guarantee that's the leverage that they played. Listen, we'll match up to 39. Good luck. Keep going up. We'll come down if you want to do a sign and trade, and we'll take all those picks. I think it's honestly brilliant in a way, too, that Walker, the center position, now it might not seem like it now, but is more replaceable than other positions, to find a rim protector and a rebounder, maybe not immediately, but you can go and find one of those. And that was the other part of the leverage, Ben. One of these two teams was going to go into a season without a center. One of these two teams was going to bite the bullet and go into this season basically without a center. And the Jazz have more stomach for the game than the Lakers do. They weren't going to let Luka down and go into this season without a center. They weren't going to do it. The Jazz, whatever. We're starting to turn the corner. People will understand. We'll plug something in at the center at some point. They just played an entire season intentionally not having a center. I mean, who can have a little short-term pain tolerance for the long-term value? I mean, I really do. I like everything about this deal. Compared to losing Wes Matthews for nothing, restricted free agent losing for nothing, I don't know. I saw some negative feedback on the talk snap. I didn't get it. And I'm not even disagreeing with you because all the things you said about Walker are true. They are not as good today as they would have been if Walker Kessler was still on the team. I don't think that's doubtable. And you know what? Cheer for Walker. Hope he turns into a guy. Good luck. I hope he lives up to the contract. I really do, because it would suck not to. But you can't. Walker, he could be a stiff in 2 years, or he could be really good. There is no decided there. If he turns into a stiff, we're going to be looking back on today like, dude, they got 4 firsts basically for that guy.
The only thing I would change about what you said is there were 3 teams. It wasn't just the Jazz and the Lakers. It was also the Pistons. Let's just mix them into this group.
But
there was 2 centers and 3 teams. And who had the stomach to not have a center next year? It can't be the team that has Luka, and it can't be the team that just had the best record in the Eastern Conference.
Yep,
it can't be.
Nope.
It leaves the Jazz.
And he's close to a max player. So you could justify matching a max contract because he's more like Gordon Hayward, where it's like, yeah, he could be a max dude. So he was an all-star.
That's the only thing I would change about what you said.
I don't know how. I don't know how much I consider the Pistons because I don't think there's any way Duren leaves.
Very possible. Well, to the exact same point of what the Jazz said. You're exactly right. The Pistons said, there's not a number we won't match at. And the Jazz said, there's not a number we won't match at. But do you have any trade offers? And I don't know if the Pistons ever said, but do you have any trade offers? And the Jazz did.
See, I love the messaging side of it, but I do think there was a number the Jazz would have just let him go.
Maybe the Lakers decided, we would rather have Walker at $32 million minus 2 draft picks than Walker at $40 million with 2 draft picks. Simple. I mean, that was probably the gamble the Lakers made and the same gamble the Jazz made. Yep. We would rather lose Walker at that number with 2 draft picks and swaps versus have Walker at $39 million. I mean, that was right. That's the deal. I mean, essentially, that was the agreement that the two sides made. And I think you're right. I bet you there was a huge offer that was higher than the $32 million that nobody really wanted to sign.
Right.
Everyone was happier to sign $32 million, and the Jazz were happy to get their picks back. Yeah, you're exactly right on that front.
I don't think Detroit is willing to lose Duren. I think the Jazz were willing to lose Walker, and that's why the Lakers.
That's why this is where we are today.
That's why they focus their attention, because they can get Walker. I don't think they can get Jalen. And as you pointed out yesterday, the timing is such that they had to pick one. There was no going after both. They had to pick one.
Now, clearly, it's not that easy to replace Walker Kessler, because if it was, the Lakers wouldn't have done everything they did to get Walker Kessler.
Well, the Jazz play a little differently, which makes that position different. But
you're right.
I understand what you're saying.
However, if I were to come to you, Jake, and say $32 million, 2 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 swaps in a trade, what would you imagine a team was getting back? It's not Walker Kessler.
No.
I mean, that's a blockbuster.
Yeah, in a market where trade values have been plummeting.
Right.
Since Mikal Bridges moved from the Nets to the Knicks.
Yep.
Trade values have been plummeting, which is why Walker was honestly still on the roster.
The Jazz gave up 2 unprotected picks for Jaren Jackson Jr. It's their own pick this year. Now, the rule has since changed that can only be that can only be the 6th overall pick, so that actually hurt.
It's not going to be that
Memphis a little bit, and it's not going to be that pick anyways, I don't think. But it's basically now a top 5 protected pick to Memphis. The Suns unprotected first, which is a big asset in 2031 that the Jazz had acquired. That's a big piece. And then it's the Lakers' top 4 protected pick coming up this year. So the Jazz included 3 picks. 2 of them at the time were unprotected. Now it's really only 1 fully unprotected. The Jazz get that back. Jazz took on more money in salary than the Lakers did in Walker. You know, Jaren makes 45, Walker makes 32. Jazz also gave up a rookie in Walt Clayton, who was a first-round pick, and a former lottery pick in Taylor Hendricks. Like, the Jazz put together a really big package for Jaren Jackson Jr. I think they got back a little bit less in Walker, but like the gap between Walker as a player and Jaren as a player was seismic.
Yeah. Well, nor do they play the same position.
No, they don't. But quality of player
Yeah.
is pretty seismic.
Oh, yeah, Jaren's way better.
And the Jazz gave up
By a mile.
little bit more in the Walker trade to get or in the Jaren trade to get a lot more than Walker.
No, I think these are the type of savvy moves that you can't pass up on. And you may really love the player, but you can't predict the future.
It's the car metaphor that you brought up. And I've told you the best piece of advice I've ever gotten in my life was from a random dude in line at AutoZone. And I drove up. I was driving a Toyota Matrix at the time. And a guy behind me in line said, "Is that your Matrix?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Is your car for sale?" I said, "No." End of conversation. After I check out, another guy comes up to me and says, "Dude, your car's always for sale." I said, "What?" He said, "Your car is always..." You didn't ask him how much he wanted to sell you the car for. To your point, Christian drives a Maserati, not a Maserati. If someone's offering him $20K for the Maserati, it makes getting to work tomorrow harder. But he has $20,000 to solve that
he's
problem.
Gonna figure it out.
He can buy a lot of bus passes and then replace it with a better car.
Some mild inconvenience.
The Jazz
in the
sold
short
the
term.
Maserati for $20,000 today.
And-
That's exactly what happened.
And didn't trap themselves into a bad deal, honestly. I mean, the risk that you were going to have to purge talent to eventually make that contract fit or trade Kessler anyway was extremely high. So, I mean...
I don't know if I'd said this on the air. I can't remember all the things I've said versus what I've thought because I'm not that intelligent of a person. If the Jazz had paid Walker $30 million and are going to pay Keontae George $30 million, the clock was ticking on how long either Lowry Markkanen or Jaren Jackson Jr. was going to be in Utah.
Right.
The clock that you had flipped the little sand timer, the hourglass. You flipped it, and it was running out. You don't flip anything now. It's easier to keep Keontae. It's way easier to keep Keontae. In fact, I'm curious if they try and
It'll
get a
be
deal
easier
down
to
this
keep
summer.
Ace, too, when the time comes.
And way easier to keep Lowry
Yep.
and Jaren. But you do have to find a center that can come in and replace some of what Walker gave you. Not all of it, probably, but some of it at a lower price. And that's got to be the goal now.
For now.
For now.
And
gotta get your bus pass.
who knows how long for now is, even. I mean, I think... Did you jump on with one of the shows earlier? Did you mention Miles Turner? I mean, something like that could easily happen.
Oh,
Like that?
if the Cavs start out 14-14 this year, or 18-12, and are the 4th best team in the Eastern Conference, and say Evan Mobley and Jared Allen just aren't working, we got to split it up. Jazz say, "Do you want a future unprotected Lakers pick and some money?"
Because we like Jared
Because
Allen.
we like Jared Allen, and we actually need that guy really badly. And then you are still ideally plus a draft pick from the Lakers and have a commensurate player.
Jared Allen at $20 million.
Correct. Like
That's pretty good.
This is a terrible market to be buying a center. One of the worst I've ever seen.
But honestly, and I know Jazz fans are dying to be competitive, but this does not change the direction. The Jazz are not going to all of a sudden start booting games again because they're so forlorn. This is just a little interruption. They have to figure out a different direction at one particular position. So, and they weren't in that advantageous of position to begin with. So yesterday they were being held hostage by their center, who was a restricted free agent. Today, that problem is over. They have a bunch of extra assets in their pocket, and now they're figuring out how to replace them in the short and long term. I mean, that's the game in the NBA. This is the game.
Correct. And another thing that's available to the Jazz now that was not yesterday is, like, we were just talking about, like, $32 million plus 2 unprotected picks plus pick swaps is what the Jazz got for Walker. It's a lot. It's a lot that the Jazz got.
People are really valuing those swaps too these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no protections on them. That's where the real value is for the Jazz. Like, what the Jazz also have now that they didn't have yesterday is, like, there's a package you could put together that is Lowry Markkanen and 2 protected on first. Like, what player in the NBA can't you get
Right.
For Lowry, Markkanen, and 2 future unprotected firsts in the 2030s that aren't your own picks. Like, that's the galaxy brain move now for the Jazz that is available today that I'm not betting on them making, but is available to them to make when the next superstar becomes available. That's now at the Jazz's disposal without dipping into their asset treasure trove or being at a negative asset count. They have 10 first-round draft picks between now and 2033. That's plus 3, if you go year by year, plus control over all their own except for next year. So Jazz are in a really good spot still to continue to build the team, even if today I think they're a worse basketball team than they were yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're willing to take the bus home? You're willing to go into the year without a center? For that? Sure.
But don't die with money.
Well, we'll see, because criticism of Danny Ainge, and Austin is not Danny, of course, was that he held on to all those assets that he got in Boston for too long, right? There were players like Jimmy Butler who were available, and he kind of didn't pony up what he could have, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, that's the delicate line.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the delicate dance that you have. But I'm telling you, what you don't want to do is overpay for a guy. You don't want to sign a contract that you're going to regret 6 months later. And that might be what happens with Walker. Again, I'm cheering for him. I hope everybody's talking about what a great value it is.
But if you tell me he's more Jakob Poeltl,
right, than
he is, who's the center that's not Jokic, that's not Wemby, that's not Joel Embiid, that's like the 7th best center in the NBA?
Rudy.
Great pick. Great choice. If he's more Poeltl than Rudy, this is one of the worst trades in NBA history.
Yeah. And there's a chance he's Poeltl.
There's a chance he's Poeltl.
Yeah,
there's a chance he ends up being Rudy. Playing next to Luka, he might be. Luka makes centers better. No
offensively, that's for sure.
That's for sure. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulder, though, to fix that defense in L.A.
Well, yeah, because they can't sign anybody else. And if you want to talk about, here's my metaphor for what the Lakers did when they finally got LeBron off their team and got a little financial flexibility. I'm imagining what your average naval midshipman, I don't know, what happens when you hit port in Indonesia after being at sail for 8 months. Like, I just imagine what that next morning is going to be like, or would be like. That's Palinka's tomorrow.
Yes.
After all this shotgun spending every penny in a dang day, LeBron comes off the roster, and they spend every nickel in the first day, which is pretty wild. And bring in a bunch of average players, and I don't know if it's going to work. That's the problem when you pay 3 players everything.
$150 million.
That's what you get. I mean, you want to. So LeBron won 2 championships in Miami, one at the beginning and one at the end. Lost the one at the beginning and the one at the end. He was in the finals all 4 years.
Yeah.
The 4th year, they ran up against just a superior San Antonio team who was really bent how they lost in the finals the year before. Mm-hmm. Do you remember who they lost to in year 1? Dallas, who was not the best NBA champion of all time, let me just put it that way. Fine team, but far from a dominant team, right? Why did the Heatles lose? They paid LeBron and Bosh and D. Wade every nickel they could because they had to sign and trade for Bosh, but they signed LeBron outright. So they had no money left and had traded basically everything to get under the cap enough to get LeBron. Think the Super Cool Bees trade. They had, former Jazz man Carlos Arroyo was their starting point guard. I mean, they had nothing.
Correct.
Now, as it went forward, they could make a trade and go over the cap. They pick up Ray Allen. They signed vet minimum guys that actually helped them, like the Birdman, and they were able to build upon it. But that first year, you can't because you just spent all your room and everything on everybody else. And now the Lakers really can't do anything to make their roster better in the short term, and arguably in the long term by spending every pick you got. That's probably not great, but you know what I mean? The Lakers get a little, they're like, I got to town, I got a little money in my pocket. Yeah. Bam, let's make this happen.
How do you get off of bad contracts in the NBA?
You have to package picks.
Do the Lakers have picks?
They do not.
Is there a chance they have a bad contract? Either Walker's or Austin Agent. By the way.
Or Lucas, for that matter.
Or Lucas. And here's the thing. Bad contracts don't mean bad players. It means the wrong player paid the wrong money. It doesn't mean Walker's a bad player or Austin Reeves is a bad player. I might have said Austin Agent. Austin Reeves is a bad player. But if he's the wrong player, then you have to find a way to move him or get off him. Now, I think you can probably move Austin Reeves, probably.
Well, let me amend that. It's not even necessarily the wrong player. It's the wrong player at the wrong price.
Exactly.
Like Austin Reeves, I don't think is the wrong player, probably for any team with his game, although he does stink at defense. Mm-hmm. But what's he at, 50?
He's at 45 or something.
$45 million? There's a chance he's the wrong guy. Like, oh, man, I don't think Rusty Westbrook has ever been the right guy. Bradley Beal could be the right guy for a lot of different situations. Bradley Beal on the Supermax? Nope.
Wrong guy.
Wrong guy.
Right.
Wrong guy. So it's the wrong guy at the wrong price, right guy at the wrong price. Any guy at the wrong price is going to screw you. Yeah. And that actually has been true for a long time and is even more true now with the second apron and first apron and all that punitive stuff. So is there a chance that Walker Kessler is the wrong guy at the wrong price? Yep. Big time.
Big time.
And he's not even that great of a rim roller either, by the way, which is what Luka wants. So we'll see. And he can't shoot free throws. And maybe he fixed that. I don't know. Great rebounder, though.
He does some things really well.
He gets pushed around. He's good at blocking shots for sure. Has great timing, like really natural on
both
that
hands,
on that front.
Does some stuff really well.
Once he figured out how to eat elbows, he turned into a really great rebounder. Mm-hmm. But is he the number 3 on the title team? Nope.
Jazz certainly didn't think so.
Well, not at that price.
Correct.
Not at that price.
Correct.
I believe the 28 to 29. I believe that number. I believe that's probably where the Jazz were comfortable going.
Yeah.
I believe they told the Lakers they'll go wherever. And then they bargained and got a great deal, which, fine. The Jazz want to, I hate it, Ben, hate it so much. Open the window, right?
Yeah.
They want to open a window for some time to come. Doesn't need to shut immediately because you paid the wrong guy.
Right.
Like Milwaukee, shut immediately because they made a trade for the wrong guy.
Yep. Close the window before it opens.
All right. Top 3 stories, KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, Senegal is up 1-0 on Belgium.
Not Belarus.
Not Belarus.
Don't
These
say
are
that.
not the Belarusians. I still kind of wanted to say it, but it is Belgium.
Yeah.
My old boss at Sears was from Belgium.
Okay.
But yeah, Senegal up 1-0 because this is the winner of this match will be who the U.S. faces if they're able to beat the Beaks tonight.
Yeah.
Which starts at 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock.
I believe.
Yeah. So
Bosnia and Herzegovina and USA. And I'm torn, Ben. I'm gonna stay with my country. This is the 250, the 4th is coming up. But man, we were all on board.
We're big on Beaks.
With Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah.
They're basically our Salt Lake brethren, right?
Correct.
All right. It's time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, what's the Jazz plan at center? They do sign Jackson Hayes right before the show. Is that what they're rolling with?
For now. This is, as you mentioned, the bike that after selling their car, this is what they're going to use. Now, I suspect Yusuf Nurkic starts.
I don't think they're done.
Yeah, we'll see what they do with the center position, in all honesty, but I don't think they're going and getting a better center than Yusuf Nurkic. There's just not many out there.
Well, and Nurk can rebound, which is truly what they need without Walker Kessler, because Jaren Jackson's not a rebounder.
And you can play 5 out. Nurkic's a much better offensive player than Walker is. Walker does some things that are very effective as an offensive player, putbacks, offensive rebounding, et cetera, et cetera. Nurk opens up a lot of opportunities that I think the Jazz really liked, the ability to play 5 out, and I think that's what they will end up running with. And there's not going to be a very good defensive team as a result, but I don't know how good they were going to be with Walker. But yes, they go out and get free agent Jackson Hayes, who last played for the Lakers, former lottery pick, who never has lived up to kind of his physical tools, has had some very serious off-the-court issues, got arrested for a domestic assault and assaulting a police officer at the time. Now, that was a few years ago when he was in New Orleans, and doesn't seem like there's been further run-ins there, so you hope he's cleaned up his act. But averaged 7 points, 4 rebounds, about a block last year, a little bit less. Did shoot 75% from the floor, and in a lot of big situations, now this is not saying much, but was playing over DeAndre Ayton.
Okay. No, he stinks.
Jackson Hayes.
He's not good. Remember, what was it, 2 playoffs ago where the small Ye decided to play 5 guards instead of playing Jackson Hayes, and he just got a DNP for even when the series was lost. And the reason why is because they needed a big. The sommelier still refused to play Jackson Hayes.
Correct. You read into how teams have used him and the fact that he keeps bouncing around.
Listen, in the short term, and barring honestly a trade, I think something, like Miles Turner or something like that, I would find intriguing. I don't know what Cleveland's going to do. Do they make room for LeBron? Do they want to trade Jared Allen? I don't know. There are other better centers out there than certainly Jackson Hayes. So maybe they do something along those lines. If it were me, well, actually, let me add this. I think they're going to sign at least one more body, and they're just going to throw a bunch of bodies at the problem, which is fine. And that way, if somebody gets hurt or if somebody really stinks, you just plug in the next stiff and you hope that you can make it work in the short term. If it were me, you know what I would do? I'd sign Andre Drummond.
Okay. Your guy.
I would sign my guy immediately. Think about this, Ben. You get 15 minutes out of Andre Drummond. You get, I don't know, what do you want to say out of Nurk now that his beak's fixed? He could probably give you 25.
Yeah, 25, 26.
So that gets us to 40. That's 40 minutes of 300 pounds leaning on the other team's center. I mean, if nothing else, just be like my 5-year-old when I'm trying to lift her to do something she doesn't want to do, and just
dead weight.
Just dead weight, and make them prop you up for 40 minutes of the game. I think, and I'm being serious. I'm not so much being serious about the Drummond, although I do think there is something to. It might as well get somebody huge that makes the other guy tired. But I think Phil can give you some minutes at the big. I do. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think he was tough enough last year and rebounded well enough that you can get, if you want to wrong foot the other team and go with a smaller lineup, if you want to call it 5 out or whatever, I think you can get 5 to 8 minutes out of that. Maybe you can get 5 to 8 minutes out of Jackson Hayes. I mean, what they're going to do is cobble together some center minutes, and they're going to be, defined fine. But, I mean, they're not going to be the bottom of the league next year because they lost Walker Kessler. I truly believe that.
I totally agree with that. They're not going to be the bottom of the league. Let's see. Last year, Nurk, who basically was the Jazz's full-time starter. I mean, he started 36 of the 41 games he was on the floor. Otherwise, they were starting Anderson Garcia and Bez Mbang and Cody Williams at center, which obviously was not a real thing. He averaged 26 minutes a game. Jazz got probably about as much out of him as you can. So 26 minutes a game for Nurk. You're probably looking at 14 to 15 minutes from Jackson Hayes, and you're at 41 minutes. And honestly, the other 7 are probably Jaren Jackson Jr., Yusuf Nurkic, or Kyle Filipowski, like making up the last 8. Like the Jazz is, I would imagine the Jazz's lineup to close most games is Triple J at the 5. And you go with your quote unquote small ball lineup or death lineup, whatever you want to call it, with Lowry at the 4, maybe Ace at the 3, Darren at the 2, Keontae at the 1, and you just say, like, this is what we want the future of this team to look like, and we're going to give them serious minutes and opportunities to learn and grow. And if it doesn't work at all, you put Nurk back on the floor or whatever. But, yeah, I think that's basically what your center rotation looks like. And if someone gets hurt, they're really thin. They get really thin, but that's the truth anyways. You probably now, though, go find another center on a 2-way contract. That's not Oscar Tshiebwe. So maybe you go and find another 5. Maybe it's Micah Handlogden or whatever, but you find somebody else that in a pinch could step in and play.
By the way, just real quick to make the point about you don't pay the wrong guy. Do you remember back when Andre Drummond was on the Pistons?
Uh-huh.
Remember, they actually showed some promise.
Mm-hmm.
One of their fatal mistakes, overpaying Andre Drummond.
Yeah.
And then never took a step after that and then had to rebuild again.
Yep.
So, anyway, I love Andre Drummond. The Jazz should sign him immediately, but he is also an example of what you want to avoid.
In his prime.
Yeah. When he was coming up in the very same situation as Walker Kessler. The Pistons maxed him out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he turned into a stiff.
Yep.
And now he's a particularly heavy one.
Yeah, sweaty.
But he'll give you 15. He'll give you 15 leaning on Wemby, 100%.
No question.
Next.
Number 2, we've got some breaking news from the Utah Mammoth making a big trade. They are adding Vincent Trochek from the New York Rangers, sending Sean Dursey, Cole Baudouin, and a 3rd-round pick.
Trochek is a 32-year-old, probably second-line center from the – he's not going to come in and start at center or on that top line for the Mammoth, so definitely a second-line center from the New York Rangers to step in and play. He has been somebody that has been closely tied to the Mammoth for a while now. Apparently they really like him. He is not big banger. He's 5'11". He's 190 pounds, so he is smaller. I would imagine he jumps in on that line with Cooley and Gunther and gives a little veteran leadership to that group.
Okay, what about what the Mammoth gave up? Because Dursey,
I was always a little underwhelmed with Dursey.
Yeah.
Clearly they were as well because they went out and kept going and trying to get, Mikhail Sergachev, and then they went and got Mackenzie Weegar. Like, they were getting defensive players that they seemed like they wanted to play higher on those lines together than Dursey. So Dursey at this point, I don't know, is he a 2nd or 3rd-line defenseman? Probably 2nd. I would imagine they feel like they can move forward now with Weegar and Mikhail Sergachev on the blue line. And then, they'll put Trochek on the 2nd line. That would be my guess. Baudouin is a first-round pick that never got to the team, but they only drafted him 2 years ago. Like, that's a big trade. That's a big piece. That's all these assets that they have. That was one that, they had not seen yet and was kind of the big body and a big banger that was maybe going to be competing for a spot on the opening night roster, and he's not there anymore, but obviously Trochek jumps in and takes that spot.
Well, they're in a win-now situation.
They are, and the West continues to get good. San Jose is getting better every day, it seems, and these other young teams are growing up and getting better, so they decided to go out and get a guy who was an all-star just 2 years ago, scoring 77 points, 52 assists, and 25 points, so you hope that coming back you can get 50 points out of him and replace some of the raw production you lose with J.J. Peterka, but also just get a better player.
Yeah, they're still trying to put somebody with the young guys, right?
You can always use some veteran leadership.
Yeah. Well, I'm speaking specifically on that line with Cooley and Gunther.
I think that's right.
Because we talked to Kyler Yamamoto yesterday, and he ended up being that this year. But I don't know if that's in their ideal world.
Yeah, I'll be curious how they move everyone around. But we'll talk to Cole Bagley about this coming up in the next hour.
All right, what's next?
Number 3, for as dead and slow as the opening day of NBA free agency was, today has been quite exciting.
Exciting?
A lot of moves.
Good players?
I think it was probably, I could be totally wrong. It seemed very too coincidental for me that Mitchell Robinson agreed to a deal with the Celtics right as the Lakers were trading for Walker Kessler. I think Mitchell Robinson was probably everybody's emergency parachute, where if the Jazz were going to match on Walker and the Pistons were going to match on Jalen Duren, the Lakers probably would have gone to Mitch Robinson, but they decided ultimately he was not high enough upside, so...
Well, and he wasn't going to wait.
Yeah, and he didn't want to wait, so the Lakers decided, okay, we've got to go all in and get Walker, And so Mitchell Robinson ends up signing with the Boston Celtics. Some other names that have changed teams, notably Tobias Harris is leaving the Pistons to join the San Antonio Spurs.
Great signing by the Spurs.
He was very good last year. 2 years, $31 million is very affordable.
And, the Pistons really needed less shooting.
The Pistons did replace Tobias Harris with John Collins, who I think is a good player. I mean, John was good for the Jazz. And really does shoot the ball extraordinarily well. That's kind of what he does. The Clippers continue to signal that they are not competing next year. Kelly Oubre is leaving the Philadelphia 76ers to sign a 2-year, $17 million deal with the Pacers. That's a pretty low number. Kelly Oubre is a weirdo, not a bad guy, but a pretty good player. Like, he's a pretty good starting wing in the NBA. I think that's a nice fit for them. And those were kind of the big pieces so far. DeAnthony Melton, kind of rumored as another potential target for the Jazz, off the table, 2 years, $11 million to return to Golden State.
Dude, the clinic is still out there.
Clinic is still out there. Oh, and how about the maniac himself, Colin Sexton, also joining the Lakers. I want to see Colin compete on a team that's trying to make the playoffs.
Well, the Lakers can't totally get rid of Clutch, I guess.
Clutch right back in the door.
Right back. Adele still lives in L.A., I think.
Hello. Amongst several moves that the Lakers made today, they also went out and signed Quentin Grimes to a 4-year, $60 million deal. That's basically their whole mid-level exception. Yes, I mentioned Colin Sexton and then Sandro Mamukelashvili also joining.
What about Brook Lopez? He picked up his player option, and maybe the Clippers are looking to
ditch him. Yeah, probably.
I can't believe they haven't. Why did they sign Jackson Hayes over the Clinic? I'd take the Clinic any day.
I honestly kind of wondered about Drew Eubanks. Like, they know Drew
Cousin
Eubanks.
Drew?
Yeah. Is it Cousin Drew? It's not Uncle Drew? That's right. It's Cousin Drew because Uncle Drew is another person. I kind of wondered about him, just like a familiar face who plays hard, isn't going to cause any trouble. I don't think Jackson Hayes is probably going to cause any trouble.
Cousin Drew can crack some skulls.
He can crack some skulls.
Yeah,
but
that's
I think
what
the
they
Jazz
need.
probably wanted some athleticism.
Well, I can want in one hand and spit in the other, and we'll see what fills up faster. I mean, the market, honestly, this was the downside.
Yeah, the market stinks.
This was
is
the downside.
why you got 2 first-round draft picks and 2 swaps for Walker Kessler.
Either the Lakers
this is a lousy market,
or the Jazz were going into the season sans center.
Yeah,
that was the. I guess when you're playing chicken, that's what you got to take.
Yep.
All right. We'll have more coming up next. Of course, the Walker Kessler news continues to be the big story of the day. We will hit on it. We will take, in the 3 o'clock hour, a brief break to talk about that trade with the Mammoth with our buddy Cole Bagley. That's coming up at 3:30. Jovan Buha is going to join the show at 3:05. He covers the Lakers, so stay tuned for that. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to this show, the Jacob Ben Show. For the winner, it's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Ben, have you ever heard the infamous legend about Karl Malone?
Which one?
He was picked. And I this could be legend. I don't know. He was picked, and as a rookie, he came to town on the 24th of July, which also happens to be his birthday.
Carl's birthday.
And he said, "Wow, you guys did this for me?
Throwing a parade for me?"
And again, who knows if that's true or not? Do you think Walker Kessler watched all of L.A. celebrate wildly for the Mexican team winning yesterday? Have you seen the videos for that?
I haven't, no.
Do you think Walker sat there and thought, wow, all this is for me?
This team loves me.
You guys are this excited for me?
Yeah.
I'm in town interviewing, and they're basically a giant celebration of 1 million people. Is this for me?
I didn't know I had such a dedicated fan base.
I had no idea. These Laker fans are amazing.
Mexican brothers.
Have you seen those videos?
No, I need to watch it.
Oh, dude, the in L.A. I'll have to. I guess the police eventually had to get involved because it got
I'm looking at the videos now.
Got a little bit out of hand.
Well, A, it was a very fun game. B,
was it? Mexico just trounced them.
Yeah, it just kind of trounced them. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to watch all the Mexican fans.
Wasn't
just go
fun for
absolutely
Ecuador.
nuts. We obviously have a huge Mexican population in Salt Lake. I've loved every single person from Mexico I've ever met in my life. I absolutely understand this party. Yeah, I think this makes total sense. I'm sure that ruled. I saw a bunch of people walking on my street yesterday in Mexico jerseys. Christian killed a guy yesterday. That was nuts.
Wow,
his
rough.
Family's routine. But anyways, everyone was happy.
That got dark quick as
Christian's
usual.
a psycho, but his family is from Mexico. But Christian just likes to celebrate with violence
But I'm just picturing
to
Walker.
the highest levels.
Walker in his hotel room after flying in coach and looking out his room and being like, man, everybody's so excited that
Viva
I'm here.
Walker!
Yeah. All right.
TMZ and a parade, all on his first day.
Oh, the first day. Wow, they really rolled out the red
Fireworks and everything.
the red
Yeah, this
carpet
looks great.
for Walker Kessler.
Oh man, you know what? I've loved the World Cup. This is by far the most I've ever enjoyed it. Most notably, because it's in our time zone. So I can just you and I are sitting at work watching games, catching up on all of them. I'm going home. I'm making dinner. I'm throwing a game on in the background. It's on before I leave. So shout out the World Cup. Been an A+ event. I get why people take 2 weeks off of work to follow it.
I do not, but yeah, I've enjoyed it.
If you have nothing else, go ahead and take your 2 weeks off there. But
Well, yeah, if I'm unemployed, I'm taking lots of weeks off to do whatever I want.
My dentist. Shout out my dentist. I also met his son the other day, who works for the Jazz. But my dental hygienist, she's from Mexico, or at least her family's from Mexico. She's from here. But she said her brother-in-law is taking 2 weeks off. I thought, wow, it's a real investment to watch the World Cup. But you said your cousin, or was it your wife's cousin?
Naz's cousin, yeah.
Your wife's cousin took 2 weeks off.
He's basically setting his alarm to get up at 2 a.m., watch all these games. That he's not even have a rooting investment. He's just getting up to do it.
Just likes to watch it.
I can't. No, I'm not that into it. But I will say, yeah, my family sat down and we watched the Mexico game last night. It was fun.
Well, Sweden lost yesterday, right? They're out. They lost. They ended up getting trounced by France. I'm going Team USA, the Beaks, and Mexico. That's my rooting
Well,
interest
there's
right
going to
now.
be one that's going to be out. Is Sweden the one with the tiny-faced guy, Christian? Who's
No.
that one?
Norway.
That has that just
Holland.
brute, dominant player that has the pinchiest face
Like
I've ever
somebody,
seen.
downsized his face by 25%. Huge body everywhere.
Huge body, huge head, pinched in face.
Real tiny
I
face.
can't get over it. And apparently he's quite good.
And you know what's funny? Zlatan has the exact opposite. Watch Zlatan pre, half, and post. Tiny little head.
Giant face.
Enormous face. That dude's face is taking up every square inch. Really making the most of it. So.
I never noticed that about Zlatan. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, it's
I'm gonna
halftime
have
now,
to
right?
Pay
Maybe
attention.
Go to him.
Dude, how much is Fox spending on analysts?
Well,
I
given
mean-
James Corden everything, he keeps getting a lot of attention.
I mean, how many different studio shows do they have? I get it. It's a big event, but I think they got every ex-soccer player that's ever played and are giving them money to
Whatever they
be
can.
analysts. But yeah, I'm sure Fox has blown it out. You know, they could lose the next one, the next World Cup.
Oh, could they?
The rights come up for a bid. This
Okay.
could be Fox's final World Cup.
It's been a hit. I bet it's going to sell for a lot.
Well, it had to make up for the year that they didn't get the
They didn't get
U.S.
one. Yeah.
because that's rough.
Yeah, it was
Because
tough.
you're not getting your bang for your buck
No,
if the
at
U.S. isn't
all.
even in it.
No. But yeah, they'll make some money tonight for sure.
But yeah, Walker, these Laker fans, man, they love me. This is great.
Yep.
They just set a car on fire. Wow, what enthusiasm! It's fantastic.
This is my kind of town.
Yeah, we're gonna take it to them, guys. Yeah.
I will tell you, Los Angeles Walker is one of the more interesting stories in the NBA.
Oh, we'll see how it goes. When's he gonna be on Kimmel?
Better be soon.
Oh, he and his wife are going to be on the talk show circuit before you know it. They're going to get a hold of that story. They're going to be like, wow, this guy's wife is Miss America?
Still think it's his girlfriend, but yeah, correct.
This guy's lover is Miss America?
Yeah, I wonder how that story's performing at KSL.
Partner, that's what they say in California.
Yeah, I should switch it out. I'm starting to say that everywhere now. Just whatever. Still Mrs. America. Miss America.
Or was it Miss USA?
I don't know. Told you, I'm still questioning the name
Christian's
that we
big-
settled on here with this country.
Christian's big into the pageant circuit. Which one was it?
Huge, notorious.
Miss America.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
I feel like Miss USA is a bigger deal.
Then Miss America? America could be Canada, Mexico, South America.
And USA's better.
Wow. Hot take.
I don't think they're connected.
They're quite literally connected. you can walk a straight line to all of them.
Are you sure? I thought there were 2 separate crowns.
Miss USA and Miss America?
Yeah.
I thought it was Miss Teen USA. I didn't know there was a full-on Miss USA.
She was crowned Miss America in 2025.
Yeah. Fallon's going to latch onto that in a second.
Yes,
you know
that's
how
very
many, like, horribly average Laker players end up on those stupid shows?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how did you get on this
Yeah,
thing?
we love
It's
our
like-
friends at UCCU Credit Union, but Walker is, his next whatever bank partner that he's doing advertisements with probably paying him a lot more money.
So Miss America is a nonprofit scholarship program, while Miss USA is a for-profit glamour pageant.
Yeah, I told you. I think they're different things.
Miss USA is preliminary for Miss Universe.
There you go.
So like I said, Miss USA is better.
Yeah, Miss America's going nowhere. Miss USA can go on to the next level. Yeah.
Okay.
Get it together, Ben. I hosted the pageant for Miss Sevier County once.
How was it?
Remarkably fun.
Okay.
They're good people.
In Sevier County?
Uh-huh.
How were the contestants?
Oh, they were fine. I guess it would be it was high school kids. So would that be Miss Teen?
I'm going to say no to that
Sevier
job.
County? Oh, they're very nice. What do you mean say no? What's the matter with that? You're just staying mum on it. Johan Buha coming up next. We'll talk the Lakers' perspective of this. Straight ahead, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.